Hello, I'm Philip Wade, Country Living with the Wades. Today I want to show you a short little video of some of the fruits and what we do with some of the fruits of the garden. You can see that we have a lot of different jars of preserves in front of me here. This particular one is sliced pears. Uh, these little jelly jars are preserves. This one happens to be figs. Um, here's another one that's pears. I try to do all the preserves and put them in little small jelly jars. That way, once I open them up, they're not open that long before the jar is empty and it's time to open a clean one. I don't want to give them too much time, but when I preserve them like this, if it becomes over 2 years of being in the jar, I'll typically go ahead and get rid of it. So we try to eat these up before the 2 year point. These are 2020, 2021, 2020, 2021. So these are all recent. Now you see I've got some preserves that are in a very large jar here. The only reason for that is I just ran out of small jars and I could not find any in any of the stores. In front of me you see some cabbage. This is some cabbage that we just picked, and I went ahead a few minutes ago. I peeled off all the outside, got it down to the clean core, and now I'll probably take those, quarter them down, vacuum seal them, and put them in the freezer. So we'll be able to make cabbage soup or whenever we want to. We just go out to the pantry, open the freezer, and take some out. So in this little video, you'll see the Satsumas as they go through the season. I tried to put the dates on each time when I'm checking on them to see what the status is. The same thing with the figs and the same thing with the pears. So hopefully you can see how ours goes through the season. Oh, and don't forget the muscadines. I don't make muscadine preserves. I usually just continue to eat them. The muscadines the last couple of years have been, the vine is growing, and so this next season, I'm sure I'll have to make some kind of a muscadine jam or something like this, because there's just going to be too many to eat. So if you're enjoying these videos from us, please like and subscribe. Oh, and don't forget to hit the little bell button over there so that you can get a notification when we make a new video. Thank you very much and enjoy. Well, today's the 23rd of April, 2021, and I want to give you an update on the big garden. The broccoli is just coming along. Potatoes are really coming along. They're brought up dirt and stuff as high as I could on the sides, maybe to increase the crop a little bit. But the broccoli is just going gangbusters. After the broccoli is the cauliflower, then the peppers, then the tomatoes. And over there was turnip greens and mustard greens mixed. Today is October the 12th. This is our primary fig tree. You can see already all the leaves are already gone off of it. We've made a fig preserve. Matter of fact, we're already eating fig preserves. Some left over from last year and some from this year. You know, we really had a good season with figs this year. The upper part of the tree, the June bugs, something like a June bug, and the bees got to it really heavy. So I may shorten the tree a little bit this winter as I prune things back. Well, today is June the 18th, and we're at the fig tree. And look at all the little figs. Yes, can you see them? Figs everywhere. Yes, the whole tree is just covered with figs. Just about every individual limb has figs all in it. They'll be ready in a little while, maybe another month. And when they do, they'll be ripening so fast we'll have to be out here picking figs every day. Of course, Deborah can almost eat as many as she can pick. They are so good. I'm the same way with the muscadines. I can eat them just about as fast as I can pick them. There's just so many of them. We will be making fig preserves again this year. What's the date today?
Today's the 9th of July.
9th of July, yes. Look, you can see them. Just about every limb has one or two, it seems like now. They start to ripen so quickly. Once they do start to ripen, look, there's at least a dozen just up there on those. We're going to be picking them for the next several days. It might not be ready. You can pretty much tell when one's ready to pick, because maybe I'll pull this leaf up. You see how they just start to turn and start to hang down loose? That means they are ready to fall off just about, and that means they are perfectly ripe. Now I can keep these in the refrigerator for a couple of days and let them pile up, add some more to it each day, and then make a big batch for making fig preserves. Look, there's two there, there's one there, they're everywhere. And just 3 days ago, they were mostly all green still. Well, this is our first batch of figs. Really nice juicy ones. Look at there, sweet. These are good figs. So, like she said, they're candy on a tree. But we'll have about 3 times this much over the next couple of days. So we'll take all these and then we'll start cooking them down, making fig preserves. Alright, it's 21st of May. You can see the pear tree. I should have pruned the top of it a little bit last year. I'll have to use a ladder, I guess, to get some of the pears. I really pruned it back a lot. You can see some of the limb that I pruned off because I had the limbs hanging down to the ground last year. All right, that's a cluster of a lot of pears there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like about 10 total right in there. It's a big cluster. Oh, and right above it, there's another cluster up there. Today is the 18th of June, and look, the clumps of pears. Big clumps of pears. And here, those are starting to show a little bit of color. We've got several clumps. Here's another clump right here. Another clump right there beside it. Another one back there in the center part of the tree. Good morning. This is July the 1st, and we're going to take a quick peek at the pear tree, see how it's coming along so we can chronicle its development over the months of the summer. Look at there. There's how big the pears are getting now. This big cluster here, good grief. Maybe there's too many in that cluster. We'll just have to see how big they eventually get before they start to fall off. You can see that's my hand there, so they're not that big yet. Some of the other clusters, all the clusters look to be about the same. Today is July the 18th, and this is the update on the pear tree. You see the clusters of pears. Some of them are starting to get a little color to them. Some are starting to get some pretty good size. These don't really get big. I was hoping that they would be bigger this year after the pruning that we did. Let's go ahead and set the ladder up. So we have some that are up there. Can you see? Oh yeah. It's going. I already did an intro on there a while ago, saying time to pick them. Here, look at this. Wow, look at them up here. These are nice ones this year. Much nicer than we had them. Oops, drop that one in there. The tree's not that big. I don't know how well you can see it there with all the other green behind it. But we did get all the pears off. There's not that many pears. We pruned it last year, but we got a good bucket full. It's a 5-gallon bucket. So, and they're good size. So we'll have some good pear cannon fun in about a week, because right now they're hard as rocks. We've got to let them, wash them and dry them, let them sit for about a week so they start to tenderize a little bit. Then we can core them and start to cook some down in preserves, and others do slices and can them that way. Well, let's take a look from this side. Move. That's the largest one right there so far. These over here. Let's see, there's one there. Coming on down. There's another, and another, and another, and another, and another. Yes, we're going to have quite a few Satsumas this year. Well, today is July the 18th, and this is our Satsuma update. Look at the Satsumas, the size of them. You can really see them now. Well, they're just covered. The size on them is really getting good too. Look at there. Well, today is August 14th, and you can see what the Satsumas are starting to look like. Yeah, they're starting to get a little color to them. Well, today is the 11th of October, and you can see the Satsumas are starting to take on some color now. Yeah, this ought to be a pretty good little crop for this little tree this year. I think I've counted 22 or something, but I know we had one dry up and fall off. But the size, look at the size of these. These are really, really good size for Satsumas. And what's so nice about these is they peel so easily and they're so sweet. Well, today is now the 26th of October, and you can see starting to really get some good color on the Satsumas. You have some of them that have to be getting pretty close. This little small one here, for example, still a little green on the bottom. We're getting some good color on the Satsumas. Yeah, P-Turkey's got to go check it out. Well, today is October 29th, and we were checking the Satsumas to sort of check and see what the status was, and came across a really weird looking caterpillar. And look at the limbs that the leaf he's been eating on. What is that? Fake eyes in the front. As we started looking, we found a couple more. Markings just slightly different. Here's another one over here where he's been eating on that leaf, but he doesn't seem to have eaten very much.
Here, look at here. This is off the,
here,
off the
hold this leaf right here, both ends of it. It looks like, oh, they're not trying to. One of them, the first one I looked at, it looked like he was trying to make a little webbing underneath him there. But this one's, oh, this one is too.
Yeah.
Look, I
Trying
don't
to
know if
make
it's
a
the
little
cooler
cocoon.
weather. Yeah, don't know what kind they are. Find them and pick them off. I don't think they're going to hurt the fruit any, but
kill the tree.
They are working on the tree here. Oh, here's a big one right here. Look at that one. Well, we just looked up the caterpillars that we were seeing on those leaves, and it looks like they are the larvae of the giant swallowtail, the largest butterfly in the southeast, maybe in North America. It said that as long as the tree wasn't infested, if it's just a single tree, typically it's not that much of a problem for the tree. So maybe we could have just left them on there and let them eat a few leaves. This is my Muscadine. You can see the big one, and then over here you can see the small one. In our area, they say that we need the male and the female so that you pollinate correctly or whatever, but we have so many wild muscadines in our area, really I don't think I needed the small one at all. But today is the 7th of May, and it's early in the morning, about 6:30 in the morning, And you can see the muscadines are starting to crawl across my structure pretty well. They're expanding out. In the next couple of years, they'll really, really go crazy. It's kind of hard to see maybe with all the trees and green of the trees in the background. All right, here it is. Friday morning, 21st of May, 6:30 a.m. I think this is my favorite time of the day. It's still cool. Mosquitoes have already gone. Gnats aren't out yet. You can hear all the birds just going crazy. Actually, you hear the birds a lot earlier than this mostly. They're starting to quiet down now some. Oh, look at the clusters. You see all these clusters? Look, you see that there? And up there. These under here. Well, here it is, the morning of the 18th of June, and we're back at the Muscadines. All those little buds that turn into blooms, see if we can see, all those little buds that turned into blooms, a lot of them are now turning into muscadines. Little clumps all over. Well, good morning. It is July the 18th, and let's look at the muscadines and see what they look like today. Oh yeah, they're starting to get some size on them now. Look at them just hanging down, looking so nice. But these others over here hanging down, not any real color yet. Nope. But it won't be long, and these will be getting ripe. And like she says about the fig trees in the front, candy on a tree, this is candy on a vine to me. Well, good morning. Today is the 13th of August, and I really don't remember my muscadines taking this long, but this is the first time I've actually recorded a date. Look at the size of those. They're really looking nice. Yeah. These are the same ones that we recorded earlier this summer that were much, much smaller. They're just everywhere. You see the odd one here and there that's turning dark. I have eaten a couple so far that just sort of came up a little early. Well, the muscadines are just about ready to pick. I'm really looking forward to it. I love sweet, fresh muscadines. Let them get completely ripe. Today's August the 19th. So I thought I remembered them coming off earlier, like towards the end of July, but maybe I was wrong. But videotaping this one, then I'll know next year when they come off. Today is August the 22nd, and I came out with a little bowl, just knowing I was going to be able to pick me some nice ripe muscadines today. But I was sure surprised. None of them are really quite ready to eat. I like to pick them when they're black. Well, you can see what I'm doing today. Today is September the 1st, which is much later in the season than I thought it was going to be. But I'm picking these wonderful, wonderful muscadines. Now I'm only picking the ones that are really dark and black. Actually, they're the best when the color starts to change on the outside, so it gets sort of a dim, a dull look to it. That's when they're really the sweetest. There are still there are still so many muscadines left on this, but now the remaining ones are getting so ripe, I don't have a choice. I need to go ahead and pick them all now. I've already got at least 7 or 8 that have fallen down on the ground, and I've got to finish getting the rest of these off. There's too many to eat. Just clusters. I don't know if you can see these very well, but these are just wonderful, just the right size. So very, very sweet. There's an art to eating them. You take this end that the stem was on, put it in your mouth, squeeze it between your tongue and your teeth. And suck the juice out. Then when you're more proficient with it, you learn how to use your teeth and your tongue to separate the seeds out of the fruit in the middle. Spit the seeds out, swallow the fruit. It's a good way to waste an afternoon. That's awesome. All right, I'm back. I went ahead, And I vacuum sealed all of this cabbage right quick. I said I was going to cut it into quarters, but the quarters were going to be too small, so I cut it into halves. So you can see that's a clean half. And on each bag, I've got the date on there, so I know this was January of 2022. I did not write cabbage on there because with these vacuum packs, it's real easy to look at it and see, yes, it's cabbage. Whereas, like on the jars of preserves, sometimes the preserves will look on figs and pears will look just alike. So I make sure I put what it is on there and the month and the year on there. So, and this is done with a food saver. I like the food saver, the model that we have right here, because it allows me to pull out from the bottom, pull out and seal and make the bottom of another bag. And while it's sealing that, I can go ahead and start stuffing the bag that I've just cut off. So that's it. Enjoy.